A setback for veteran Congress leader ND Tiwari. The Delhi High Court has ruled that Tiwari will have to undergo a DNA test in connection with the paternity suit filed against him by a man called Rohit Shekhar. The High Court had even earlier asked Tiwari, a former governor, to undergo a DNA test, but Tiwari challenged this order in the Supreme Court, which refused to grant him relief. Rohit Shekhar, who claims to be Tiwari's son, then approached the High Court again, asking the court to implement its own order.
मैं अपनी माता जी को और अपनी नानी को धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा जिन्होंने मेरा साथ दिया। 5 साल से हम लोगों ने ये लड़ाई लड़ी है और इसका जो सही स्वरूप है वो अब सामने आया है। कोर्ट ने कह दिया है, कोर्ट की मंशा थी, यहाँ तक कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट की मंशा पिछले साल ये थी कि नारायण तिवारी जी केवल डीएनए सैंपल नहीं दें, एक समय दिया था, समय सीमा दी थी कि 2011 के मध्य तक डीएनए टेस्ट की रिपोर्ट तक कोर्ट में आ जानी चाहिए थी और पब्लिक में खुल जानी चाहिए थी। 1 साल तक ये मजाक कैसे चला, 1 साल तक क्या हुआ, इससे हम लोग सब क्षुब्ध हैं, सब दुखी हैं।
And closely tracking that story is my colleague Siddharth Pandey, who now joins us from outside the Delhi High Court, which in fact gave this ruling only a short while ago. Siddharth, we believe you have Rohit Shekhar with you, the petitioner in the case who claims to be ND Tiwari's son. If you could please ask him for us, how relieved is he following this order? This is of course not the first time that he's got a favourable order from the courts, but we have seen how Tiwari has been defiant all along. Is Rohit Shekhar confident that ND Tiwari will finally relent?
Absolutely, but this in fact is the one case in which the court has actually come out with the strongest words ever, saying that Mr. Tiwari has to actually go ahead and give that sample, and if he fails to do so, the appellant in this case can actually approach the court and get police help to try and get that order executed. But I've got the man himself, Mr. Shekhar here. Rohit, you've been fighting this for almost 5 years. You'd almost given up. In fact, several times that we've spoken up, you said that, look, it's a losing battle. I know the courts are giving directions, but it's still not happening. So where does it go now next?
Look, I was disheartened and disillusioned completely. But today's verdict has renewed my hope completely. And what they have said is that this person who has been evading the law in the most flagrant manner for the past 1 year can be confined, and police authority can be used. So it is a very strong verdict from the court.
In the past as well, the courts have said that Mr. Tiwari should go ahead and give his sample. That's not happened. He's challenged that at the Supreme Court, at the High Court. So are you hopeful it's going to go through this time as well, because he's got the legal option open of going to the Supreme Court?
See, I'm hopeful because the court has given such a strong verdict. That is why I'm hopeful, because I followed the rule of law. I went to the court and in an appeal, and that has been allowed. The content of my appeal has been allowed, which says that he should be compelled. And how can he avoid and evade the law in such a blatant and absurd manner?
Vedant Verma, you've been a legal counsel for Rohit. It's almost obvious, isn't it, that Mr. Tiwari will approach the Supreme Court. So how soon can that happen, and are you ready for that fight there as well?
We've been ready to fight Mr. Tiwari all these years, and we will continue to do so. I cannot comment as to when he will approach the Supreme Court, but I can say with some degree of confidence that I'm sure he will.
And this is the strongest terms ever, right? The fact that the High Court today actually observed that he has to go ahead and give that sample.
Well, at some level, Mr. Tiwari was making a mockery out of the whole process of law. And I believe that in this order, the court has come down very strongly on this conduct of his. And they've said very clearly that, yes, he can be forced against his will to comply with the court's order. And if required, Rohit and through the courts can take police assistance to ensure that the order of the court is complied with and these proceedings are not made a further mockery of.
Very briefly, one argument Mr. Tiwari has actually used in the past, saying that this is an invasion of his privacy as well, that he's forced to go ahead and give this blood sample.
Mr. Tiwari's rights under Article 21 to privacy have to be viewed in terms of Rohit's rights under Article 21 as well. He's a child trying to assert his fatherhood and establish whether a man is his biological father or not. And I think that right must always come up on top.
Thank you so much. And one brief word from Rohit's mother. Ma'am, you've actually been with Rohit, obviously, in this particular fight. A lot of mental anguish as well.
But patience, there is no way out because the legal procedure is like that, you know. And even if Mr. Tiwari had been filing frivolous application, that had to be seen into. And that is how he had been, you know. And, you know, his conduct, as Mr. Vedant Verma, Rohit's counsel, has already spoken. You know, he was participating in all the hearings before Joint Registrar, exhibiting as if he is going to comply with the order of giving DNA. But at the last hour, he backtracked.
But finally, of course, now this particular High Court order says that he has to. Well, thank you so much there, ma'am. Thank you so much. Well, as you heard it there from the family and the lawyer, they are hopeful that at least this time around, Mr. Tiwari will probably be compelled, but they are saying that he could, of course, approach the Supreme Court as well. But that's another legal battle, and they say that they're ready for that particular round as well.
Do you have the NDTV Profit app? All the markets, all the news and your own homemade, ready-made portfolio available there for you.
We will right now answer what you should sell, what you should buy when markets are down.
Download at ndtvprofit.com/apps. Get the best app from the channel you trust.